Welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And Coach, the Tigers head up to New Jersey. First time ever meeting between the Tigers and the Monmouth team, and the Tigers come away with the victory. A game that was, I think, from a turnover standpoint, your best of the season.
That's the stats say. We did all right there. We were fortunate, I think, to create some turnovers and get possession back, which definitely helped. I think our guys did a decent job, controlling the ball, smart with decisions. Clearing the ball was decently effective for us. So overall, a decent day there.
You jumped out to a quick lead. It was 5-0, but at halftime that lead had been cut to 6-3. What was it that Monmouth maybe was doing in the second quarter that you weren't able to take advantage of that you did in the first quarter?
I think it was more that they didn't capitalize early in the game on some opportunities they had. They had a really nice look early on. Evan Long makes a big save on the doorstep, keeps them off the board. They had a couple of looks through their offense where guys mishandled the ball, where they could have got some good opportunities. So they were definitely keeping us on our toes and having to have us play. So we had to settle down a little bit more, trust our matchups, and support, kind of when we needed to. But they were able to kind of find a little groove in that second quarter, pump in a couple goals. And Evan had to make a big save at the end of the half, to keep them from getting to 6-4, in a 2-goal game at halftime.
One matchup you were able to take advantage of was Kyle Berkeley. Looked like every time he had a midfielder on him who was much shorter, he was able to take advantage. Because of that, 5 goals and assists, and he was named the Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, it's good to see Kyle have success. The guys around him helping him get there. That first midfield line has some pretty good balance to it with Kyle and Josh Weber and Mikey. So seeing those guys work off of each other, Kyle ended up getting a short stick a lot of the time. So when he did get the ball off of ball movement, he was able to get his hands free a little bit quicker instead of getting tied up with a pole. Again, he took advantage of some good opportunities, and then, he hadn't been as consistent shooting the ball, but he had a pretty good day shooting the ball.
That first midfield had a great game. I mean, Kyle had his 5 goals. Mikey had 3 goals and assists. He was named the Rookie of the Week. And Josh Weber had a big day, 2 goals, 3 assists. So most of your scoring did come from that first midfield.
Yeah, it was something that we noticed on film that we thought we could expose, and those guys lived up to it and did what we needed them to do. Attack-wise, our guys did a good job keeping the ball moving and redistributing up through the midfield. But our midfielders did a good job sharing the ball and hitting the cage.
And then face-offs, Matt Constantinidis got off to a slow start, but as the game progressed, he got better and better. What kind of changes was he able to make things better in the second half?
You've seen a lot of lacrosse. A lot of times with that position, it's kind of settling in, just like the rest of the players, settling into the flow, to the groove. And same thing for Matt. We knew this was going to be his toughest challenge to date. Monmouth's guy is very, very strong in regards to.
He was averaging almost 57%. Yeah,
in regards to face-off. So we knew even if Matt won the clamp, that the guy would make counter moves, and Matt would have to be really disciplined with his exits. And Matt had some definitely success where he was able to control the ball out, but their guy was just as quick and able to control the ball out as well. And we made a couple of adjustments to try to challenge some of the ground balls that came out, and their guy did a great job. And Matt, I think, just like I said, settled in, got away from the procedures that he had in the first half. Sam Morin had one of those, unfortunately, in the first half, which hurt us with the procedure penalties. But being able to just kind of in that second half find a groove a little bit and continue to play smooth.
All right, well, with the victory, the Tigers moved to 4-2 in the conference. And there's Delaware's at 6-0, and then everything gets kind of bunched up. So this week is a very important week for the Tigers as you will play Delaware. A victory, and you are in the tournament. A loss, and then you've got to hope for things to happen in the Hofstra-Stony Brook game. Obviously, you don't want that. But you have to take on the 6-0 Blue Hens. And obviously, 2 guys that get a lot of the publicity for this team, Ty Kurtz on the offense, and then Owen Grant on the defensive side, but they're not a two-man team.
No, they're obviously a very balanced team. You don't have that kind of success by, in the game of lacrosse by only having two good players. And they're a team that returned pretty much everybody from last year's squad who, was very strong and made a run into the NCAA tournament as well. So they have that experience. They have that familiarity with each other. So the attack trio is very dangerous. Their midfielders are obviously talented, and Owen Grant does a great job at the defensive end, but he's got, the goalie, he's playing really well. So like all those guys are back and they're playing high level lacrosse, and they're showing kind of what they're made of so far.
As a former, All-American defenseman yourself, when you see Owen Grant, what do you see in him?
He's just got great size at first. I mean, he's a good physical defender. He's long, because he's got reach. He's got terrific stick skills. He's excellent in transition. I think he's got a few goals, over a handful of goals already this season. They use him in transition, but he just makes you uncomfortable because you have to make your move earlier because he's so long, and then when he's able to close the gap and get hands on you, he's a big physical presence, and he covers ground pretty well. He's got a good edge to him. He's got some nastiness, as you'd like to see out of your defenders. So he's just a good, well-rounded defender.
Well, I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, but this Delaware team has been fantastic in the first half. They have outscored their opponents by 2-1. So obviously they like to jump on teams early. How do you get your team to make sure that doesn't happen?
Continue to focus on what we have been. Coming out of the Hofstra game and the Denver game, as we talked about, we had slow starts. First quarters were not our quarters. Continuing to focus on that. Continue to focus on being ready to go from the start and having the energy and the intensity, but more so the focus and being ready to play assertive but smart at the same time. So again, preparing that way all day, every day in practice, and being able to step on the field on game day with that, knowing that that's what they've been able to do so far this year, but something that we really have to step on the field with. At this time of year, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's like you gotta play your best across the entire game, and then be able to compete at all times.
I mean, there is a possibility that this could be you play Delaware on Saturday and then you play Delaware again on Thursday. Do you think Delaware treats this game a little differently because they have clinched first place, and they don't maybe want to get anybody hurt going into the conference tournament? Do you expect them to do anything differently than they've been doing throughout the course of the regular season?
I'd be surprised. I would be. I don't anticipate that with their, with where they are, and been in a similar situation in the past. You still want to keep your guys sharp and keep them out there and playing and stuff. So I don't think they're going to play to that and then try to rest players or anything like that.
I'm sure they don't want to do Towson any favors anyway.
Nobody does. That's okay.
All right, we talked about Kurtz, J.P. Ward, another guy. I mean, between the two of them, you look, 46 goals, 22 assists for Kurtz, 26 goals, 37 assists for J.P. Ward. What do you do to try to keep them from getting on the scoreboard?
JP is a great quarterback for them, and he's flanked by, Ty Kurtz and Robinson, who are great goal scorers, and then guys at work that you got to really worry about off ball, but also they're capable enough dodgers. JP's a good physical presence. He's got size. So again, our on-ball matchup has to win that battle. He has to be sound and disciplined and be able to make sure that we're, taking away his ability to get above the cage, to keep him occupied when he's got his head up and he's looking to feed, get in his hands, and know that they're going to, a lot of things are going to run through him. So we have to be able to stay dialed in those matchups, and as the ball's moving and working when we get up to them, to be disciplined with it.
All right, it is the biggest game of the year, Saturday at 12. We hope you can come out to Johnny Unitas Stadium. It should be a great ball game. If you can't make it out, Glenn Smith and I will have it for you on Flow TV and TowsonTigers.com starting at noon. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikis. Tune in next week for the postseason edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. Thanks for tuning in.